Hello. Let's talk about Sir Isaac Newton. He was a great mind. He was born on Christmas Day, 1642, in a small village in England. His early life was not easy. His dad passed away before he was born. Newton was born a tiny baby, so small people said he could fit in a mug. When he was 3, his mom remarried and left him with his grandparents.
Newton was a curious kid. He loved to know how things work. Instead of playing with friends, he would build things. When he was 9, he made a sundial. He went to a grammar school when he was 12. You can still see his name on a windowsill at King's School. His mom wanted him to quit school to help on the farm, but luckily he stayed in school.
After school, Newton went to the University of Cambridge. He started there in 1661. To pay for school, he worked as a valet. This means he helped and served others. Even though he was studying, he worked hard. At Cambridge, he learned about ancient Greek thinkers like Plato and Aristotle. But Newton had his own ideas and wanted to find deeper truths than those old philosophers had found.
Newton believed that truth was more important than friendship. He cared about science more than being popular. Then, something big happened. The bubonic plague came to Europe. This was a very bad disease. Many people got sick, and Newton had to leave Cambridge. While he was away, he worked alone at home. This time let him think about important questions and make big discoveries.
When Newton was at home because of the plague, he started to study light. He did this with prisms. A prism is a clear object that bends light. Newton found out that white light is actually made of many colors. He showed that sunlight has all the colors of the rainbow in it. He was very smart to find out something that others didn't know before.
This made him question old ideas from famous thinkers like Aristotle. Aristotle thought that colors were just black and white mixed together. Newton did not agree with this. He had new ways to think about it. Newton liked to make tools too, so he built a special telescope. This telescope helped to see things more clearly, using mirrors instead of glass.
This new type of telescope was important because it made things look clearer. Newton figured out how to reflect light without losing the image. This was a big step for science. But Newton also did something risky when he tried to learn about vision. He stuck a needle into his own eye, very carefully to see what would happen. It might sound scary, but he really wanted to learn.
Yes, Newton seemed fearless when it came to discovering things. Even at the risk of his own eyes, he was committed to finding answers. His work with light and the telescope helped scientists understand more about how we see things. This was one of the many reasons Newton was so special. He found new ways to look at the world and was not afraid to challenge old ideas.
We all know the story of the apple falling on Newton's head. But did you know this inspired his thoughts about gravity? He wondered if the same force that pulls down an apple could also hold the moon in orbit around Earth. This was a big question for Newton, and he thought about it a lot. He was curious to find out more about the force that moves everything.
Newton had many ideas, and he even invented new math to explain them. This math is called calculus. There was a German mathematician, Leibniz, who also worked on calculus. They both claimed to be the first to discover it, which caused a big dispute. Newton kept many of his works private. He didn't like when people looked too closely at his ideas. His secretive nature was both a strength and a weakness.
After the plague ended, Isaac Newton came back to Cambridge. He continued with his research work. He became a fellow, and then he got a very special position. The position was called Lucasian Professor of Mathematics. It was a very important job. later held by someone famous too, named Stephen Hawking. Newton was still young when he got this role. He was busy with his studies and work.
Newton was not very interested in teaching students. Sometimes he would teach even when the room was empty. He focused more on his research. His main work, Principia, is really important. It explains gravity and movement. It talks about how things stay at rest or move when a force is applied. His book changed how we see the world and how we understand motion.
Many people may not know, but besides science, Newton was also interested in religion. He believed he could uncover secrets of the natural world from the Bible. He thought if he studied the Bible closely, he could see the future. One of his boldest ideas was about the apocalypse. Newton said the world might end in the year 2060. However, he wasn't exactly sure and said it could be later.
Newton's beliefs went against some common Christian ideas. He had his own opinions about certain teachings. For example, he did not agree with the idea of the Trinity, which is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. After Newton passed away, many of his religious writings were sold at an auction in 1936. These writings showed the world his hidden side and made people see him in a new light.
In the later part of his life, Newton became interested in alchemy. Alchemy is an old science where people tried to turn metals into gold. Newton wrote about a special recipe to make something called the Philosopher's Stone. Some people said this stone could also make humans live forever. Newton spent a lot of time in his lab working on this, and it might have made him sick.
Newton's work in alchemy was secret, and not many knew about it during his life. He may have gotten ill from the substances he used. People found high levels of mercury in his hair after he died. This could explain his strange behavior later on. In 1693, he had a mental breakdown. It lasted for over a year, and he even thought his friends were against him.
Newton then became involved with the Royal Mint. This is the place where money is made. He worked hard to make better coins for England. During his time at the Mint, there were many people who tried to make fake money. Newton used his skills to catch them. He even helped make sure they were punished for their crimes.
Newton also had disagreements with some scientists. One well-known dispute was with Robert Hooke. Hooke said that he gave Newton the idea about gravity. They argued a lot and did not get along. It's said that Newton tried to remove any mention of Hooke from history. He may have even gotten rid of a portrait of Hooke so people could not see his face anymore.
Please like this podcast and subscribe to our channel. We have many more interesting stories to share with you. Stay tuned for more episodes where we explore the lives of other great thinkers. We are excited to bring you more amazing content. Thank you for listening and supporting us. See you in the next episode.